Well, on July 4th, 2023, Brazilian Federation President Ednaldo Rodrigues says Carlo Ancelotti will coach Brazil at the 2024 Copa America. At the time, Ancelotti's Real Madrid deal was set to expire in June 2024. Then December 29th, 2023, Real Madrid announces Carlo Ancelotti's contract extension to run through June 2026. On January 20th, 2025, Spanish radio outlet Onda Cero reports that Ancelotti will leave Real Madrid at the end of the 2024-2025 season, and Ancelotti denies the report. On March 7th, 2025, The Athletic reports Real Madrid make contact with Xabi Alonso about potentially replacing Carlo Ancelotti. Then a couple weeks later, March 26, 2025, O Globo reports Brazilian Federation resumes contact with Ancelotti representatives to take over Brazilian national team ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Phil, really it's come down to, we're not asking the question of if Carlo Ancelotti will leave, it's really a matter of when Carlo Ancelotti will leave. So what's the latest on all of this, on the development of the story?
Yeah, I think that was a very nice summary of the story there you put together, and we find ourselves here in mid-April 2025, fully expecting Carlo Ancelotti to not see out the final year of his contract. He does have one more year. He has publicly stated, "I will never walk away from Real Madrid. I will always stay here until the club get rid of me." So he publicly has full intention to see out that contract. Privately, I think it's a different matter. I think everybody kind of has come to the acceptance and conclusion now that the Carlo Ancelotti era, very, very successful era, the most successful manager in the history of Real Madrid in terms of trophies, it's come to an end. What has to be worked out now is the time frame, because the Club World Cup complicates things deeply, because if there wasn't the Club World Cup at the end of the season, thank you, Carlo, all the best, go and enjoy yourself in Brazil. But there is this Club World Cup, and Real Madrid would really like to do well at the Club World Cup. It's not a minority tournament for them. They will view it as something important. So who takes charge of the team for the Club World Cup if Carlo Ancelotti leaves? Now, the feeling that we're getting here, and I've been speaking about this with some colleagues here in Spain, there is the suggestions that Carlo Ancelotti leaves at the end of the season. Santiago Solari takes charge as an interim coach for the Club World Cup. And again, as well, he's got experience. He's done it before. He knows the club. He's someone who can sort out, plug a hole, if you like. And then Xabi Alonso comes and takes over after the Club World Cup in the summer. So there we go.
It definitely feels like an inevitability that Ancelotti reportedly will leave by the end of the season, be it in May or be it at the end of the Club World Cup. But how much, Phil, can the two remaining Clásicos shape the Ancelotti narrative?
Listen, you've already seen it there. He's already won more trophies than any other manager in the history of Real Madrid. So 2 more won't necessarily change that. What it will mean is that he can go out on a high, and that's what Carlo Ancelotti deserves, I think. And I think a lot of Real Madrid fans, there's still a lot of love for Carlo Ancelotti, a lot of appreciation for the work that he's done, for the trophies that he's achieved, but people just feel like now it's not necessarily working as it should. It's time for a change. So if they were to win the Copa del Rey on Saturday, here's the thing about Real Madrid. Their season is judged by basically two things, what they do in the Champions League and what Barcelona do as well, full stop. So they're already out of the Champions League now, and Barcelona are looking to do a treble. So Real Madrid can win the Copa del Rey, great, more silverware, but they can also stop Barcelona doing a treble. Don't underestimate the importance and the significance of that for Real Madrid and their supporters. And of course, they're still in the title race. We saw them battle last night against Athletic Club and get a victory. So that second Clásico, whether they're still in touching distance when they meet on the 11th of March, remains to be seen. But yeah, it's not, this is the idiosyncratic nature of this rivalry between these two rivals. It's not just what you do in the season, it's what the other team does as well. So if you can win something and also stop the other team from winning something, that's doubly important.
Yeah, totally agree with everything you're saying. And I asked you on Friday whether you thought it was more of a possibility that Real Madrid walks away trophyless than Barcelona winning all 3. You said it was more of a probability of Real Madrid walking away trophyless. But humor me. What I was getting at with my last question, just stick with me for 1 second, Phil. Let's just say Barcelona stumbles in La Liga and Real Madrid ends up winning Copa del Rey. And that Clásico on May 11th does mean a lot more than we think it's going to mean. And Real Madrid take top of the table and they walk away this season, winning La Liga, winning Copa del Rey. Barcelona does not win the Champions League. Is there still a possibility that Ancelotti could stay at the club?
I mean, there's a possibility, but I just don't see it happening. I just genuinely don't think that whatever happens between now and the end of the season, Carlo Ancelotti will stay for a number of reasons. I mean, this is just, and I've used this example before on the show. I'll use it again because in 2003, Real Madrid won La Liga, and the day after they won La Liga, they sacked the manager Vicente del Bosque, and they sacked him because they wanted a change in style. They wanted a different playbook. Those were the words used by the manager, the president, Florentino Perez. And I think there's a similar kind of view here that whatever Carlo Ancelotti may or may not achieve between now and the end of the season, there is a view within the hierarchy of the club, within a lot of sections of the supporters as well, that Real Madrid need a slightly different playbook, a slightly different view and way of playing football. So yeah, whatever happens, and you put forward a convincing argument there, Nico, whatever happens, I think Carlo, his time is probably up.
Yeah, thanks for entertaining his what-if situation,
just
Phil.
play devil's advocate here. I mean, I do agree with everything that Phil's saying. It's very logical.
You gave me $1,000 to $1,000 to bet with on Friday. You said put your money where your mouth is.
Phil, do you feel like the months and months and months of this Carlo Ancelotti speculation that he would leave, that he would maybe go somewhere like Brazil, do you feel like all of that has maybe compounded together and affected the team's mentality? Do you feel like it's affected the mentality of the players on Real Madrid?
Maybe it could be one of a number of reasons why Real Madrid are performing below people's expectations. And let's not forget, expectations were sky high at the start of the season. We're talking about a team that's won La Liga, won the Champions League, and gone out and signed the world's best player, possibly in Kylian Mbappé. People are expecting this is the start of an era of dominance for Real Madrid. Certainly domestically, they felt that Barcelona were really far away from them. And yet what has happened is quite the opposite of that. And again, I go back to what I was saying. Carlo Ancelotti has got the team playing how they're playing, which is not particularly convincingly and in no discernible style. Whereas at Barcelona, a new manager has come in, Hansi Flick, with exactly the same group of players, more or less, and implemented a very clear philosophy, a very clear style, and has got them playing spectacularly extraordinary football. And that hurts Carlo Ancelotti. It doesn't matter what he does or isn't doing, what Barcelona are doing and what Hansi Flick has been able to do, it reflects badly on him. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying how it is here in Spain, how people view it. So that hasn't helped Carlo Ancelotti. And then there's, speculation about players, about his future, the squad being deeply unbalanced. Did you really need to sign Kylian Mbappé? How could you not possibly think about trying to replace Toni Kroos? Nacho left at the back and nobody came in. The squad was particularly unbalanced. But yeah, sure. I mean, that speculation about Carlo Ancelotti can't have helped.
And it feels like you mentioned those expectations were so high and it flamed out way too early. Mbappe getting booed or jeered at the Bernabeu when his face came on the big screens when he was sitting in his box watching the game. Where does he stand amongst Real Madrid fans, and how indebted is he to the Santiago Bernabeu at this point?
Kylian Mbappé scored 33 goals in all comps in his debut season at Real Madrid. He's 4 goals away from having the most successful ever debut season in terms of goal scoring for Real Madrid. Those are the numbers. And I think it's slightly unfair to pin the blame on him because his numbers have been solid and he's actually been one of Real Madrid's better players. I'm not saying that he's had a stellar standout season, but I think in a squad that has, broadly speaking, underperformed, he's not been one of the worst by any stretch of the imagination. Now, what hasn't helped is the expectations, and not just the expectations, the 7 years prior to him coming. And there were a lot of Real Madrid fans when he turned down the club on a couple of occasions. Oh, this is a disgrace. Oh, we can never sign him. Oh, we didn't want him anyway. And then he comes, so he has to try and turn over their hearts again, which he does. You know, people want Kylian Mbappé to succeed because if he succeeds, then Real Madrid succeeds. But it wasn't an easy start for him, and he expressed it after missing a penalty in Bilbao. He said, I hit rock bottom. It's been very tough for me mentally. But again, I'll go back to that. 33 goals in all comps in his first season is a pretty decent return. And I would possibly put money, if you're going to give me another $1,000 to bet with imaginary Nico, that he will end the season as the top scorer in a debut season for Real Madrid. So it's not all down to Kylian Mbappé. It really isn't. The thing is, Real Madrid probably play better in a 4-4-2 system. And certainly Carlo Ancelotti yesterday, when Mbappé wasn't available, he said, I prefer us in a 4-4-2 because we can defend better. We're a little bit more compact. Well, if you've got Rodrigo and you've got Mbappé and you've got Vini and you've got Bellingham, it's difficult to set up like that. So that's been one of the problems as well. But I don't think we can blame Kylian Mbappé entirely.